Welcome back to Living in the Pacific Northwest with Hal Byrd. I'm Hal Byrd. I am a relocation expert, certified relocation expert in the Pacific Northwest, focusing on Clark County and the Portland metro area. And today we're at an open house. I was referred this listing to help out a fellow agent whose clients are relocating, and they needed their house sold in Washington. So we are in Cathlamet today, which is in Wahkiakum County, right on the Columbia River.
It's funny that the background looks so vivid. It almost looks like a green screen.
Oh my gosh.
It really does.
It's insane. Do you see the boats down there?
Let me get a little better view here.
So today we're doing an Ask Me Anything. As you guys come on, make sure to like the video, subscribe. When I see the new subscribers and new comments and new likes, it really motivates me to keep making content for you guys. So make sure to like and subscribe and comment so I can see that you guys are here. I'm talking to my cell phone basically and my husband behind the camera. But it's really nice to know who's on the other side of these videos and who's getting value out of it. Get a lot of messages from people that are like, we watched so many of your videos before we moved, and I'm like, I'm just hearing about you for the first time. So it's really great when you guys can engage and comment, and gives me that motivation to keep creating content for you. So today we're doing an Ask Me Anything, so drop your questions in the comments. Let me know what questions you have, like the videos you come in. This listing is a very cool listing, obviously because of the view. The current owner of the property was telling me that when she first walked through the property, she was so awestruck of the view, and it was like blinders on, that after they left the property, after they're showing they closed up the house, they were ready to leave, and she goes, wait a second, did the house have a kitchen? Because she was so focused on the view, she forgot what the kitchen looked like, or that there even was a kitchen. And she said that they would spend hours out here just enjoying the scenery, everything from, you'll see in some of the listing photos and in the listing video that'll be on YouTube, that it goes from being kind of foggy in the mornings to clearing up and being so beautiful in the afternoon. It is approximately 2:30 in the afternoon right now. It is October, late October, and you can definitely feel the autumn weather coming. But you've still got the sun, you've got blue skies, clouds. It's really, really special.
Can you give some stats on this particular house?
This is a 3-bed, 3-bath house. The main house is just under 1,700 square feet, and there is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment that is over 650 square feet in the basement. Completely separate living quarters, separate entrance. It's currently rented, so if you purchase this property and you did want to rent that lower level, it's already rented, and the tenant does want to stay. So you could have cash flow from the moment you purchase the property. We were also talking about the potential of this house being for someone who is either an owner-occupant who wants to live in a small town that's quiet, that's very community-oriented. Could also be for someone who's looking for a vacation home for their family, maybe parents or grandparents who are looking to have a generational type of home, knowing that this view or the value of this view typically goes up over time, not down, and only gets increasingly more and more valuable because of the just rare and scarce nature of a view like this.
Right. And what are some things like if someone wanted to buy a property like this, obviously they could live in it.
So yeah, they could live in it. It could be a vacation home. It could be a second home.
It would probably be a pretty serious moneymaker for Airbnb short-term rentals, right?
Yeah, so you could put a long-term tenant in here. You could put a short-term tenant in here. There are several successful Airbnbs actually on Puget Island, which is just across the river, but it's not walking distance to town. They don't have the elevation that we have here, which gives you this kind of bird's eye view of the river.
Right.
So there's a huge opportunity for that, really. I think that would be one of the best ways. And if you're interested in the Airbnb stats or the potential, the AirDNA estimate for what this property could generate in revenue on an annual basis, I can definitely send that to you. Just reach out to me. You can text me at 360-818-4438. You can email me, hal.byrd@exprealty.com or hal@birdseyerelocation.com. All my contact info is in the description. So it could be a great home for many different uses. I've also, previous owners, so not my clients, but previous owners have also rented the main house and occupied the basement apartment as well, the lower level apartment. So you can do
That's
that
like
too.
one of those house hacks I hear about. Right?
Yeah. I have a client who's putting an offer in today on a house like that they're going to rent out the rooms for. Also show them the backyard, because not only does this have a great view, a lot of view properties, we see this a lot in Clark County, properties that do have views don't necessarily have a yard that's usable. So whether if you had a dog or if you wanted to start a garden, that's definitely something that you could do here. It is a little bit sloped because you can't get views without elevation and sloped lots. If everything's flat, the only thing you're going to have a view of is the skyline. So this could be leveled, or you could make it a tiered garden if you wanted to do something like that. It has lots of potential, but it's also move-in ready. There's nothing that we're aware of that has to be done before moving in.
Got a couple comments I want to read really quickly.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So we got a hello from Bishop. Thanks, Bishop. We got a hi from Kim Hartman, and then Catherine Silsey says gorgeous view.
Gorgeous view. It is absolutely a gorgeous view. No questions yet?
No questions yet.
If you have questions, you guys can ask me anything. We're live, so you can try to stump me if you want. So yeah, I think this house is a great opportunity. It is currently listed at $524,900 for the 2 units, and it's got a 1-car attached garage, also separate from the apartment, but it's located behind the apartment, is also an attached shop in the lower level. So you've got a garage that you can park your car. You've also got a shop that you can do woodworking and whatever men do. I shouldn't say men, but whatever people do in shops that I don't know about besides woodworking and tinkering. I don't know. What do people do in shops?
They do preparedness. They can food. They do all kinds of stuff in shops.
Okay. So there's tons that you can do with it. What else were we going to tell them about? So that's our newest listing here in Cathlamet. If you want a virtual tour, a private virtual tour, reach out to me. I can get that set up and scheduled for you.
Why don't we talk a little bit about proximity, because most of the people who follow you know you in relation to Vancouver, Greater Vancouver, or Portland Metro. So where are we at in relation to Vancouver/Portland right now?
So if you're looking on a map and you see Portland to the south, and then the Columbia River, which is on the Oregon-Washington border, we call it Oregon's River because the Oregon owns most of the river. It's their property, so that's where the state line is. And then just north of it, you have I'm paranoid about spiders. Just north of it, you have Washington. So if you're looking at a map and you see Portland and Oregon, and then the river, and then north of that, you see Vancouver, Clark County, Washington State. I'll do it backwards so the river's flowing west, goes through Vancouver, turns north at Vancouver, and then continues. So we are just up the Columbia River by about an hour. So if you're also looking at a map and you look at I-5, goes through Portland, through Vancouver to Woodland, and then Kelso Longview. And then the river turns at Longview as well. And we're about maybe 25 minutes west of Longview, heading to the mouth of the Columbia River, if you will. So if you actually can see those hills in the distance, those like that mountain range over there, that's near Astoria.
Oh.
And Astoria is, a famed town, but also the last city in Oregon at the mouth of the Columbia River, where the Columbia River, terminates into the Pacific Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Some really interesting stats about that. Maybe we can do a featured video about that too.
Can we do a live from location there?
We can. I think we should do a vlog about it. Do you guys like our vlogs? Let me know in the comments. Do you like when we post the adventures and the trips that we're taking regionally, so you guys can imagine? Whether you live here in the Pacific Northwest now and you're looking for ideas of things to do, because a surprising number of people that are local do watch our channel. Or if you're relocating and you want to imagine what sorts of trips you would take and activities you would do, so let us know if you like the vlog style content that we put out, or do you like more real estate related content. I think, as you notice, we don't post market updates. I feel they're kind of, they're irrelevant really quickly and also not the most interesting. Like when I speak to my clients, I tell them, here's what the market updates are, how many days on market, what the average price points are, what I'm seeing as I'm actively working with clients. But we don't put a lot of that out on YouTube. So I'd love to hear some feedback on that. What else were we going to tell them? We had a kind of cool day yesterday. This is a little side note. We had a full circle day because we had lunch with a new potential client. They visited from Los Angeles at the Cove, which is on a waterfront basically in Vancouver, Washington. It's not at the waterfront, but it is waterfront to the Columbia River. So we had lunch there. And as we were leaving, we ran into a client that we sold a house to last year, who also was a Californian, who moved up here, and we were just talking about his house and how he's been settling in and stuff like that. Then we had a closing yesterday for a client, and we had negotiated a $7,000 seller credit for clients that are currently under contract, and then also showed homes and submitted an offer, or worked on an offer. It's going to be submitted today for a different client. So it was like every stage of the process, from new clients to running into old clients to closing on a house to negotiating for clients that are under contract to showing homes and writing an offer. So it was literally a full circle day yesterday. We've been very busy, and we're super grateful to all of you guys that choose to work with us and choose to have me represent you as your realtor. And you know, when you hire me, you're not only getting myself, but you're getting the team behind me, which is the man behind the camera, and also a transaction coordinator who is like an angel on earth. She is amazing at keeping me organized and making sure that all of my clients are taken care of. So you see me in front of the camera a lot, but there's people and support behind the scenes that you don't always get to see that makes it possible.
So we do have a comment. Catherine has to sign off, unfortunately, but she said would love to see some neighborhood-specific content in and around Vancouver, especially older neighborhoods with larger lots. That's something that's near and dear to me as well, Catherine. Thanks. Have to sign off. Have a great day.
Bye, Catherine. Yes, it's been on our list for so long. Vancouver is divided up into neighborhood associations. I think there's like 64 neighborhood associations, and so we should definitely do videos on that. I think it would take a whole year for us to produce that content, which is probably why I've been putting it off a little bit, but I will definitely make a note to make more neighborhood specific videos for you guys. Why
don't we do something a little different? Because I know it's a little nippy out here for me, at least, and I know you're
I'm actually doing okay. My fingers are a little cold, but what's the temperature? People love to know that stuff, right?
Oh, that's good.
So it is currently 55 degrees with a high of 54, so we're exceeding it. Hey, do you see the hummingbird?
Oh, hummingbird.
Can they see it? I want it to fly.
Barely.
But it's feeding.
Wow.
Oh. It's so little. And I have a client, she's from the Dominican Republic, and she said that in the DR they say that when a hummingbird stops, like time stops basically, because they're always flapping.
Oh, it just flew off.
Oh, so cute. So what were we going to suggest? Do something different?
Let's go inside.
Okay.
Hold on.
You don't have to twist my arm.
Oh, you just said you're feeling good out here.
I'm okay, but my hands are cold. Now, if I had like a warm cup of apple cider, you know, it's very seasonal, go to the pumpkin patch, get some apple cider and some apple cider donuts, and maybe like a heat lamp out here, I would definitely have my feet up and just...
Yeah, I would
spend... Would be me all
I'd spend ridiculous amounts of time out here. I'd be under a little heated blanket and everything.
All right, so we're heading inside.
All right, so we're inside. That feels good. And I don't know. So, like, what are maybe some things that if someone is looking for? Because we had mentioned, short-term rental potential, Airbnb potential? Are there some things that you wanted to maybe point out, at least down here on this level, or just in general that may be a reason it would work out well? We talked about how many people this could sleep.
Yeah, so if you did set this up as a short-term rental, we were talking that it could sleep probably 8 people. You could put a pull-out sofa here. We'll stay on the main level. I also want to point out this wood stove. Yes. So they have a traditional heat pump that heats the house. But the wood stove is really nice because if you don't have power, you can basically put wood in here, and it's a very efficient means of heating the house. Don't mind my box.
Yeah. Plus another, just from a preparedness standpoint, I'm a big fan of these wood stoves. Like Hal said, because you don't need power. So power goes off. As long as you have a stack of wood, you can keep you and your household warm, but it also radiates heat. So unlike a forced air furnace, I'm sure you notice, as soon as that bad boy goes off, the heat goes off. Yeah. Right? So this kind of like where I'm from back in the East Coast, used to use radiators. So these big hulking masses of iron sitting in the room. And I didn't appreciate them at the time because they take up space and they're a pain in the ass to paint behind. But the beauty of those is even long after you turn them off, they're still warm and they're radiating that heat throughout the house. So to me, that's another great feature with something like this. Plus it's just really super cool and charming.
Yeah, they're also more efficient than a fireplace. Like if you put wood in a fireplace, there's a lot of energy loss. Whereas when you use a wood stove, you don't lose as much energy, so you get more efficient heat for like burning the same amount of wood.
And I'm looking, so I can see ductwork. So this house actually kind of has like the best of both worlds then.
Yes.
Right, because you have this the stove
and the heat pump, and the heat pump also has a propane backup. So you've got multiple sources of heat, which is nice. The other thing that's kind of unique about this property is you have the master on the main, so it's not a master suite setup, but it does have this bathroom.
Full bath.
Which is here in this more private hallway. And as we come over here, you got laundry facilities, and then they had actually converted this. It used to be a formal living room. And you'll see there's a fireplace there. It's not currently hooked up, meaning the chimney is blocked, but
that'd be one of my first objectives.
The buyer could do their due diligence to basically punch the chimney through the roof.
Heck yeah.
So it could be possible, but the buyer would have to verify that. But this is a king size bed, so it's a spacious room. It's got very tall ceilings.
So this room will sleep another 2 people.
Yes.
Okay.
How tall are the ceilings? Are they 9 feet?
Yeah, 9 feet at least.
9-foot ceilings, and then you've got this cool upstairs. But I think that probably the best thing to do would be for if anyone wants a custom virtual tour to
stay tuned.
Or to reach out to me directly, and I can set up that virtual tour from them. Look at the view from even just the kitchen sink over here.
Because this is at home. I'm normally the dishwasher, so I would quite like this view because you got the sink here. So yes. I'm busting suds, as they used to say, and then I'm also peeking out looking at this. Huh?
You're what?
Busting suds.
Bussing suds?
Yeah. Has anyone ever?
I've never heard that.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if that's an age thing or a regional thing.
If you guys are watching this video live or maybe later on, let us know in the comments if you've ever heard the term busting suds, or am I that different, or is Hal that different?
Who's the odd one here, me or him?
Yeah, right.
So like the videos, you guys I see we have several people live, and the likes are not stacking up. So make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe. I think that's all we'll say about this video. We have some new content coming out in the Invest in the Northwest series that we'll be releasing later this week. And we'll be here at the open house tomorrow. So if you want any of the open house details as well, and you want to come see this house in person, we're only about an hour north of Vancouver. So if you were looking at this as a potential vacation property, I think it's the perfect distance away, where you're going far enough away that you're getting out of the hustle and bustle of the Vancouver suburban area, the Portland metro area.
Yeah, and the cool part is just driving here. the drive itself is very enjoyable, and it doesn't even feel like an hour, because like we're not used to driving an hour in our everyday life anymore. So typically, if you say drive an hour, I'm like, no. But the drive, because a lot of it is along the river and just some stunning views going through woodland and Kelso. The drive itself is a treat. So you have this nice drive from everyday life in Vancouver in this scenario, and then you come here and it's like, I feel like I'm in like where do you feel like you're in when you're looking?
I feel like I'm in like a storybook or a magazine.
Yeah, I mean this is like
it's truly magical.
This is a great view. So, all right, well, thank you for the live and touring and sharing a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Mr. Retired Kevin says, when I hit the lottery for sure. You got that in your sock drawer, Kevin. Stop playing.
I've seen your sock drawer. You definitely have it in your sock drawer.
Oh, we have another.
I'll see you next week, Kevin.
We have another. Amy H says, thank you for all your videos from the Vancouver area. She's from Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh.
Hang on a second. It keeps these things go so fast.
Yeah, the comments go away so quickly.
I thought it was just me. But was researching and making a move there in the future. Your videos have been helpful. Thank you, Amy, for saying that.
Yes, thank you. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be here. We have a new video we did yesterday that was published yesterday. It's a driving tour series of Marine Drive. So if you want to see kind of near the airport and what's the northernmost part of Portland, that would be a great video to watch. It's about 20 minutes. 20 minutes, yeah. And we're just driving along Marine Drive, telling you guys a little bit about the area. So if you want to see a different section of the Columbia River, that's really great. I mean, we talk a lot about the river, but it's such an integral part of life. I like you on that side because I can see here. Okay. Whoa. What is it? Do you see that big white structure part of the boat moving? It looks like it's going through the land, but it's on the other side of Puget Island. Can I zoom in? Yeah. Let me show you. You do it slow though, because it doesn't respond super well. Okay, right there. Wait. One of our concerns is the smoke from the fires. Is that actually an issue? That is a very good question. How do I get it? Can you guys see it though? Yeah, there's the boat. There's like a big boat going by. Oh, wow. Huh. It's like a glacier. I'm like, what is that moving through the land? I forgot the river's on the other side. For a sec? Yeah. Okay, that's a really good question. I will answer it. Okay, we're back to... Can I go back on camera? Oh. Are your hands tired? I'm good now. Okay. Fires is a really good point. So I will... Sorry. No worries. I'll give you the most complete answer that I can based on my experience, which is that fires can be an issue, but it's not as frequent as when we lived in Southern California. So when we lived in the Murrieta-Temecula area, we had fires every year, sometimes multiple fires, and as close as you can see the river, we could see fires from our house. We had one that was within a mile of our property when we lived in California. So that's kind of the perspective that we're coming from. When we visited in 2017, that was the first time that we visited. It was around this time in 2017. There was the Eagle Creek fire. There was a teenager from Vancouver who was lighting fireworks in the gorge on the Oregon side and ended up setting off a humongous fire. I think it was over 250,000 acres. And Highway 84 in the gorge was shut down on the Oregon side. Massive disruption, lots of smoke, not that much in Vancouver from what I remember because of the way the winds were blowing. The smoke was going more east than west from what I remember. Don't quote me on that. But so that was a huge fire, definitely an issue. There were certain parts where the fire jumped the river. Not very much fire was on the Washington side. So that was in 2017. Then in 2020, there was so 3 years later, and we moved in 2018. So we had firsthand experience versus just visiting from 2018 and on. In 2020, there was a fire in Oregon. It was in Estacada, which is south east of Portland. That fire was really bad for the smoke because of the wind direction. That was 2020. Last year, 2021, there was tons of fires in Southern Oregon, but because of the wind pattern, all the smoke blew to the east, and we didn't get any smoke whatsoever. It went up on the east side of Washington, up into Canada, and then down, kind of like circled down into the eastern part because Jared's family in Philadelphia had smoke. And I remember his mom called us to ask, do you guys have smoke? And we're like, no, there's no evidence of any fires, but it was just the way that the smoke was moving. Now, 2 weeks ago, there was a fire that was started in Washington on the Clark County and Skamania County border. Mm-hmm. That's the Nakia Creek fire. And that fire was small-ish. It was like 150 acres to start, but we had some pretty serious winds that expanded the fire to about 1,400 acres. So that was 2 weeks ago. What do you see? I'm
just looking at that boat kind of moseying on out in the distance. It's so crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's probably headed out to the Pacific Ocean. So 2 weeks ago, that fire started, went from 150 acres. It was that small for like a week, and the firefighters were working on it. Then the winds expanded it. I had clients that had to be evacuated because they live in rural Camas, and they made the evacuation zone pretty large. So the smoke was unpleasant, but wasn't so bad. It was considered unhealthy, especially as you went more east. But I mean, I was out showing homes. I didn't feel the need to wear like a mask outside. Compared to 2020 was definitely like you wanted to wear a mask outside because the smoke was so bad. Now, we had been waiting all week. There was rain in the forecast. So we had been waiting and crossing our fingers all week for rain. And we had some serious rain come yesterday and overnight today. Hey. Yeah, it's in the cabinet there. Okay. No problem. And so the rain, I actually was looking at stories this morning to see if it's completely put out. I've seen that it's about 25% contained, but when we left our house this morning in Vancouver, there was no smoke in the air. So the rain really helped a lot. So it's like, yes, every couple of years, let's say 2017, 2020, and 2022, there's been some level of smoke in the kind of that fire season between, say, August and October. So maybe every other year, which is less than what we're used to, and also not as close to home, the actual fires, and not as pervasive as the smoke we're used to personally from Southern California. And
we had a couple other comments. So Ocean asked about the fires and the smoke.
So I hope that was detailed enough and complete enough.
Yeah, and then Kevin answered, nowhere near the issues he had with smoke living in Livermore, California. The smoke was so dense he could actually look directly into the sun. So yeah, for a lot of reasons, what we deal with here isn't as bad as you would think with all the trees and greenery that we have. One being the amount of rain that we get is a huge blessing. It keeps the fires down to a minimum. And then the wind basically running along the Columbia River kind of keeps the air quality very, very fresh, and it's not stale like in a lot of the valleys and areas, low-lying areas that we hear people moving from.
Yeah, so in the case when there was like this fire that started 2 weeks ago, the wind didn't help because it picked up the fire, but generally it keeps our air quality really good. Like normally our AQI is below 30 when I do check it. At the height of the smoke this week, where we live, it was around 150, so that's considered unhealthy, like it was red. But now, I mean, it was clear when, like, as clear as it is behind me right now here, it was that clear when we left. So it was only a 2-week thing. Whereas in California, for us, it could be like the fires could be going on for weeks or months, and there's no rain coming to
dampen it and extinguish.
Yeah, and so it's really on the firefighters to put out a lot of the fires in California, which I think is the most affected state by fires. But I know Oregon, especially Southern Oregon, has a lot of fires almost every year. So it's tough and it's hard to escape, but I think it's at this point with the state of Mother Nature and Earth and the way things are. Is your finger in the thing or no?
No, I'm a professional.
Oh. Okay. And I think it's hard to escape completely if you live on the West Coast. There's going to be some level of smoke, some level of fire threat, but at least where we live in Clark County, like most of Clark County, unless you live in very outer-lying areas, like your home isn't in direct risk of burning down. One of my clients who lives in Washougal, her daughter's home burned down this year in California.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, we're insulated pretty well to a large extent, which is one of the reasons that we love this area so much. One of many. So.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions before we hop off?
Let's see here. Ocean just said, thanks for answering the question. They happen to live on the central coast of California.
Okay,
Amy
like Monterey?
Let us know.
Pismo?
Yeah, let us know kind of where on the central coast, Ocean. And then
Uh-huh.
Amy says we've had a few smaller fires. I'm sorry. Amy said we've had a few smaller fires in the area this past summer, but they're pretty rare. Oh, Pismo, yep.
Okay. Does Amy live here? Is she talking about locally, or is she the one, or is Amy the one from Salem, Massachusetts?
Amy's from Salem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fires in Massachusetts, huh?
Fires can take place anywhere.
They can.
Yeah.
Also to point out about the fires, the one that just happened, the Nakia Creek fire, they are actually searching for people because they think that it was set off by a pyrotechnic. So
it's always man-made, man. That's the part that pisses me off personally.
yeah, like the 2017 fire, which is the Eagle Creek fire, you can look it up. That was caused by a teenager lighting fireworks. The Nakia Creek fire that just happened 2 weeks ago, also caused by humans. Someone caught a video of their vehicle, and they're looking for, I think it's 2 men and 2 women in connection with starting the fire. So at least it's not natural causes, but I don't know if that makes me feel that much better, because once it started, everyone has to deal with it. So I guess that'll be all for now. Thanks for joining us on live. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will keep making more videos for you guys, including neighborhood specific content. That'll be coming soon. So I will chat with you guys later. Ciao.
So.